Good evening, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan, TK over there at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. I'm in an undisclosed location in Nashville, Tennessee, as we're here for the Summer Baseball Summit. It's a group of, I don't know, Tommy, probably about 30 teams from around the country that are like the Baton Rouge Rougarou, that are Summer Collegiate Wood Bat baseball teams, and there are teams from all over the U.S. Even some teams from Canada actually are here, and it's a conference that we have each and every fall, and it's you have vendors and you have best practices and guest speakers and all the usual things you have at a conference, and so. I'm here with the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators. I'm here with the Baton Rouge Rougarou, and for the few minutes we're here with you talking a little sports, TK. Some things that have happened since you and I talked Monday morning. LSU went to the White House, and LSU Shreveport went to the White House. I thought the ceremony was really cool. Couldn't have gone any better. Just LSU and LSU Shreveport both got lots of quality time, lots of exposure, and I thought it was a great memory for those kids.
Well, and then Donald Trump said, "You two guys ought to play each other. I'll pay for it." He said that. He said, "I'll pay for it." So somebody could hold him to that. Maybe we could get the Tigers and the Pilots to play. But a memory of a lifetime for everybody involved, for LSU and the LSU Shreveport team. And I saw a lot of the pictures and saw a few video clips. So a special memory for all of those guys.
I can tell you for someone who is 53 years of age and had a memory like that back in 1991, I mean, a long, long time ago, that's definitely something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. Now, we were blessed when I went in 91, the only team, LSU baseball team, that went to the White House to meet the president prior to this year. Was the meeting Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams. I mean, that
Yeah,
was that
that's
that
that's
was
a no
like
brainer.
cherry on top. I mean, that was unbelievable. And it was carried live on CNN back then, which of course CNN would never carry anything like that live now. But it was live on CNN, which was crazy to think now that Fox News and CNN would have carried it live and the whole ceremony. But that's what they did back then. There was no Fox News then. Um, but it was a really cool experience and something, those pictures. I mean, I still have an autographed baseball from the president, George H. Bush. So I'm, curious to see. I know both teams presented Trump with a jersey, LSU a gold jersey, the Shreveport with the Pilots with a white jersey. Also, he was presented with a baseball bat. I know Kurt Ainsworth, the founder of Marucci, who's currently still the president of Marucci, he was there, and I'm assuming that whether he presented it to Trump himself or whether he gave it to one of his people, I'm not sure how it all went down. But Trump ended up with a purple Marucci championship baseball bat.
That's pretty cool. Again, memories for a lifetime for all involved. And you got the video, you got the pictures that these guys can show their kids and grandkids one day. So that's a special thing. I mean, not a lot of people get to do that, even though it's a tradition with teams in the sports world to do it. So special memory. And then the Tigers are going to have their ring ceremony this Saturday.
Yeah, that'll
In
be.
conjunction with the A&M game. It'll be some craziness out there on the campus.
Yeah, 4:45. It's open to the public, by the way. 4:45 on Saturday at the PMAC, is the ring ceremony, that anyone can go to. You can just go into PMAC. They'll have the ring ceremony, and then after the ring ceremony, they'll usually, and then the band will be in there. They'll come down. They'll play, come down the hill with the cheerleaders of the Golden Girls, and they'll perform a few songs in there. So definitely worth going to and checking out. But um, it may be the only highlight of Saturday. I don't know. I'm actually surprised, TK, talking about Saturday, that the line is not bigger. I mean, LSU is what, a 2.5 point dog?
Yeah, they're a 2.5 point dog. Over and under came down 1 point, whatever that means. It's now at 47 and a half. And I was talking to a couple guys last night who, big football fans. They're into it all. And they're like, the story will be, does LSU win? They don't expect them to win. Some of them thinking, they might hang in there. So a lot of storylines going to surface on Saturday night. And don't forget, after the A&M game, there's an open date. I'll just leave that right there.
And you keep saying that as if there's a possibility that something's going to happen. I mean, unless Santa Claus exists,
No,
Tommy,
no,
there's nothing
no.
going to
Well,
happen.
no, it could have a change in offensive coordinator or offensive assignments, play calling. That's I'm thinking more along that line. I
Yeah.
get I know what you're saying about the money and can they pay him 52 million to walk away and then hire a new we know the story, but I'm just thinking if they do not perform well and they get beat, you almost got to have okay, we're gonna get this new offensive coordinator in or a new play caller or a new way that we do it. I mean, they're going to have some kind of answer, I think.
Well, you
If
would
they
think,
win,
but
of course,
nobody.
everybody will be happy. All right,
Yeah,
we get that.
you would think, but you don't. You don't need to do it. There's no one that's going to make him do it. He's untouchable. Talking about Brian Kelly, when you got a $50 million buyout, he is untouchable. He can do
But Joe
whatever he wants.
Sloan's not untouchable.
He's not, but there's no chance that Joe Sloan's going to survive this season. Like, I mean, like the off season. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. He's
come on.
definitely not it next year. But so then, do you
Yeah. I
do
mean,
that to
right.
create a
And here's the
spark?
thing:
You know,
if you're Brian Kelly, I mean, you have the plays come through your headset. You know what I mean? You have the power to kind of you know choose. Hey, we want to at least run pass. Is an easy one for a coach. It may be more convoluted for the head coach to get involved in the actual play call unless you're looking at a call sheet and doing all that kind of stuff. But to definitely say run pass, though that can be his call. But no, I think it's a disaster. I actually don't like the under in this one, Tommy, and I go by this. Look how this LSU defense, I think, got a little bit exposed against Vandy, in the sense that there's film now on how to move the football against them. Texas A&M's defense is not very good. Um, Although I give credit to Bobby Petrino and Arkansas's offense is just as much, but so I don't know. I worry about that. I'm not as confident about the over under. I would have thought for sure that they were going to hit the under in the Vandy LSU game. Particularly now we go back and we look at that game, Tommy, and look at how much that Vanderbilt rushed the football, which I figured they would do anyway, and as their MO. But they not only did they rush the football, they rushed the football super effectively, more than we expected. And so, yeah, they ate up time of clock and they had possession, but they were successful, and that troubles me a little bit here against A&M this week. I don't know. I feel like these, defenses are maybe starting to get a little tired, and you got a lot of film to see how to move the football against each other, and so I'm not as confident about the over under as on this LSU A&M game as I would be. I'm not as comfortable, but even the bet because do you believe in A&M? Do you think A&M's a top five team in the country? I don't believe they are. But then at the same time, how good is LSU? And I don't think they're very good.
yeah, I agree with that. And of course, will Weeks play? Now it's an SEC game, so you got to put out the availability report. So fans will have a little something to hang their hat on, and maybe by the time we do this Friday morning, there'll be some word on whether Weeks will try to go or will go or et cetera. But as Derry Beckwith said last Saturday, when you get a bone bruise, the only thing that heals that is rest and no contact and no getting it bumped and getting it jammed up in the pile or whatever. So I mean, we'll see if he can go. I know he wants to go. There's no question he wants to be on the field, but can he be out there? Can he be productive?
Um, New Orleans Saints. So interesting news. Before we talked about the New Orleans Saints, I don't know. Did you see the comments about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, a good
So,
comment by Wilson saying Bounty Gate. We're making a
so
referral to that from
Sean Payton
18
after the
years ago.
game, of course they beat they beat the Giants
Giant.
on Sunday. They were trailing. They hadn't scored a point after three quarters and came back 33 points in the fourth quarter. One of the more amazing things you've ever seen. And they end up beating the Giants. And Sean Payton basically said complimented Dart, and he told the family, the Mara family, and everything that he wishes they were hoping, he were hoping that they would make that quarterback change after they played him. And kind of a dig to Russell Wilson, saying Dart's better than Wilson, and saying we were hoping that we wouldn't see Dart until after the Broncos Giants game, which is this week. And I'm sorry, it was last week. I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, it was last week. But like after the game, he said, "I wish we'd have, y'all would have made that change after our game." And Russell Wilson, I mean, sure, it's a dig at Russell Wilson, but I don't really honestly, as much as it's a dig at Russell Wilson, I think it was as much a credit to Dart, right? And but he took it so personally and said, "What, Tommy?"
He said something about classless, and then he said, "Hey, still doing Bounty Gate after what 15 years ago, whenever he got suspended for the Bounty Gate thing, to paying for tackles and interceptions or whatever." But yeah, Russell Wilson clapped back a little bit. Had to have something to talk about this week.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about it at all, and he
No, he
made the
was not.
comment. He made the comment about called out Sean Payton, and then he referenced Bounty Gate, pulled that out his ass out of the middle of nowhere, and uh, like I mean, Russell Wilson had a run. I mean, he had a 9-year run where he was right there. Man, he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and of course took his team to the Super Bowl a couple times, um, and had a run, but it's clearly over.
Yeah, I would agree. It's clearly over. He's a backup if he wants to be.
All right, so the Saints this weekend, what's the line and against Tampa, and they're playing a home game, but it's not going to actually start till after 3 o'clock, so
Yeah,
that's a little bit different.
yeah, the Buccaneers are 3.5 point favorite over and under 46.5. Buccaneers just lost a tight one the other night to a Lions team who's really good, I think. So Tampa Bay comes in an NFC South matchup. Can the Saints win? I don't see it. I don't see it happening. But a 3.5 point spread, that's not a big number. But and the Saints are at home in the up and down world of the NFL. Do the Bucks bounce back after their Monday night loss? And we'll have to see. But I don't feel real good about the Saints winning the game.
I I mean, this
I don't want
Bucks
them to win
team.
because you stand the cash as
Well,
Vegas,
yeah, I
but
mean, clearly I don't want them to win because I've got the over under bet for the season, but I don't. I mean, I just don't see how they win this game. I mean, Baker Mayfield and Tampa are legit. They are a playoff contender, and I don't. It would be shocking to me. I mean, obviously it's NFL, anything can happen, but it doesn't. It definitely doesn't look like a game that they'll win. The big question is really that everyone's talking about it in New Orleans is at what point do we see Tyler Shuck, 2nd round draft pick out of Louisville? Regardless of how good Spencer Rattler is doing or not doing, and he just came off of arguably one of his worst game this year. At what point do we see him? I mean, you only got one win. I mean, playoffs and all that aren't an option. So at this point, to me, it should almost be treated like a preseason, Tommy. And in the
well,
sense that play each quarterback a half or something.
I thought last week it was 20-0, and the Bears were winning. You were on the road, and I thought late in that second quarter, hey, you got to put Shuck in the second half, see what happens. It's on the road. We'll see what happens. But then, Wilson led him to a touchdown drive, make it a 20-7 game. And you're in that game. Certainly, at halftime, 13-point lead in the NFL is nothing. So then they didn't change. But I was wondering if like they wouldn't have had that late score, would they have went to Shuck? Of course, that's up to Kellen Moore. But yeah, that's a good question you have. When do we see him? I mean, if they're down 20-0 at half this week, do you see it? Of course, if they're winning or Rattler's playing well, which he's played good this year. He's played real good in spots. But when do you make that change? We'll see. To find out what you really have with Shuck, you got to know.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that kind of like everybody's waiting to see, and I don't blame them for being a little bit. I don't blame them for being a little bit questioning that. I mean, there's some talk that maybe they would just let Spencer take all the bullets with this bad team and let him get beat up, and let the Saints truly see what they have in Spencer Rattler from a standpoint of leadership and play, and you know maybe evaluate that situation fully. I don't know. Someone like myself thinks that as much as I do value and believe that to be successful as a quarterback in the NFL, the more time you have to marinate on that bench and watch and learn and how to be a pro and learn the game and let it slow down a little bit for you. I think there's tremendous value in that. If you have the opportunity to be like an Aaron Rodgers that was sat for so many years, take it. But there were also teams that had the chances to win. This has no chance to win. I think there might be something to be said for, giving the guy, a quarter or half here or there,
Yeah, I
in the
agree
development
completely.
phase.
And we're going to see it. We just don't know when. Would it be this week against the Bucks, or will it be down the road? So we'll have to let that one play out.
World Series, when's that start, TK?
Friday night, the World Series starts in Toronto. Blake Snell will throw for the Dodgers. He's a two-time Cy Young winner who's been fantastic this year. He threw a complete game. He went 8 innings in another game. And when he's on, he's money. No pitcher announced for Toronto yet. Could be Kevin Gausman, who got the win Monday night in Game 7. He kind of cherry-picked it. That's what we used to call that, when you come in, throw that one in, and then your team goes from losing to winning with the George Springer home run. So it could be Gosman Friday. We'll certainly know by Friday morning. And if he doesn't throw game one, I'd have to believe he'd throw game two, which is Saturday night also in Toronto. So I'm looking forward to that. And Ronnie, it's been flying under the radar. You and I have not said the word Pelicans in a couple of months here, but the NBA opened last night with a couple of games. Your Pelicans play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight in Memphis, right up the highway if somebody wants to go. Grizzlies a 4.5 point favorite.
And this is the plan that Tommy Krysan's going to go with between now and the end of the year, December 31st. We'll evaluate it when the calendar turns to January. But you're going to bet against the Pelicans every single game
Yes.
between now and December 31st and see where you land at that point with your bets. I think that's a
And I'm
good
gonna keep
play.
a chart. I'm gonna keep a chart in my book here where we make our little notes for Sports Shorts Daily and Sports Shorts Radio, and I'm gonna keep a tally sheet. Yeah, I'll be able to tell you I'm 4-2 or I'm 2-4, whatever it might be. But the NBA kind of under the radar a little bit. The defending champs, Oklahoma City, won in overtime last night. Pelicans, Zion lost a bunch of weight. He's supposed to be able to stay healthy. A lot of crazy stories down there. Joe Dumars trying to put his fingerprint on. Of course, he's a member of Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And so the Pelicans do play tonight on the road. They'll be home Friday against the Spurs, amongst high school football and everything else, World Series, everything else that's going on. So we'll see if anything happens good for the Pelicans this year. I don't foresee it. Over and under 28 wins. They're predicted to go 28-54, and they're predicted to their chances of making the playoffs are really slim and none,
By the way,
according
you
to some of the
mentioned
NBA gurus.
You mentioned Friday night opening night. This Friday night over at La Bears, they actually have their annual Halloween $5,000 Halloween costume contest, and I think that you get Chiwis or Molly Ringwalds or somebody playing. Usually it's Halloween or something like that. But one of the great bands will be playing in the event center this Friday night. 9 to midnight usually the band plays, and then around 10:30 we'll have the Halloween contest winners. But you can start registering and taking your pictures and getting judged in the three different categories: individual, good ghouls gone bad, which is a female category, and then a group, which is two or more. So that starts at 8 with the contest, ends at I think 10, and then we'll announce the winners at 10:30, and then live music starts at 9 o'clock. It's the best Halloween party in Baton Rouge each and every year. It's at the Le Bears Baton Rouge in the event center this Friday night. So if you're not
All
at the
right. Well,
Pelicans game, you need to go to it.
we'll get all the details and pass them on Friday morning. Yeah, if you're not heading to New Orleans for the Pelicans game, I'm thinking you should be at La Bears. I mean,
That's right.
that's what I'm voting on. Ronnie, I have a question for you about this conference you're at. Like, did you have to pay twice? Like, pay for Lake Charles and for Baton Rouge,
No, I
or
did
did they
not. I
let
did
you
not.
slide in on the dual ownership thing? I'm just
Uh,
curious. I mean,
yeah.
people want to know.
No. I was prepaid. Didn't have to pay twice. It was funny because we've got representatives from both teams here, and but by the way, not the only team. at the conference that has multiple teams, right? You know, there are some other ownership groups that have more than one team. So I'm not the outlier here, but
Okay.
and even one of the teams, there's two teams in the same league. So there you go. So it's not unprecedented. It's just not very common.
All right, but there we go. I'm just, inquiring minds wanted to know.
But basically, Tommy, we're learning some things, and you know, Rougarou fans, Lake Charles Gumbo Theater fans are going to benefit from this conference because there's some ideas and things that we're going to take to make the fan experience better, to make the games
Cool.
more fun. So, looking forward to sharing in the spring some of those new ideas.
Well, people have to know it. I mean, Rougarou and Gumbo Gators is really a year-round thing. I mean, I was involved, you and I, with a meeting the other day that involved Rougarou concession stand and flow and items on the menu. I mean, we did that in October, so it's
Right.
not like it's a May the 15th to August the 2nd kind of thing. So, and you've hired your coaches, you've made that announcement. So it's really, a year-round thing, just different things on the calendar until the games start in June.
All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, today's you can order online, pick up or delivery. Tremonti's, you can go to tremontis.com. You see it on your screen right there, and place an order. You can get it delivered. You can come in and pick it up. You can certainly eat here. Tremonti's has all of your tailgating, home gating, and game watching food and drink. The ribeye rolls, the shrimp rolls are great for those kind of parties. All the meat and seafood, the tremendous wine selection, the liquor, and a whole lot more here at Tremonti's on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down the street from Parkview Baptist Church and School. Follow Tremonti's on Facebook and Instagram to keep up with all the good things. And of course, we're close a month or so away from the Thanksgiving turkeys when they'll have fried, smoked, and rotisserie turkeys for you, all at Tremonti's. And again, order online, tremontis.com. All right, we will be back on Friday for another episode of Sports Shorts Daily. On behalf of Ronnie Rantz, I'm Tommy Krysan. Enjoy your Wednesday. Have a great day, everyone.